Alright, hi, good morning. Welcome to today's video. On the day it's been recorded, it is Thursday, July 25th, 2024. It's just a little after 6 a.m. and I'm just now getting off of work. Why? Well, let's just say that there was a call off for night shift. Like literally, I don't know, like 20 minutes, or no, more like 15 minutes before the shift for transport officially began. And I was texted by our senior manager for housekeeping and transport, saying that said person called off, you want to cover. And I'm like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll do it. To my own bitter judgment, because I was also in the middle of, what was I doing? I was working on, thumbnails for my videos, kind of updating them and, you know, all that other stuff. So, yeah. That happened. I got like maybe 3 or 4 in, and I was like, alright, fine, I'll come in, I'll cover, and I'll be here all night. And yeah, for the second time of me, you know, working here at the hospital, I did a full night shift, which, you know, it ain't too bad. Because here's the thing, even though I'm normally there from 11:30 a to 8 p, during the weekdays, I'm never really by myself at all. But during the weekends, I'm only by myself for an hour. Which, you know, is whatever. There was a time where it was a weekend and we only had a 6 a.m. person and an 11:30 a.m. person, in which, you know, the 11:30 a.m. person was me. So, yeah, it was literally me and the 6 a.m. person. So as soon as I got there, the 6 a.m. person immediately went to lunch. So I was by myself for the first 45 minutes, which was, you know, whatever. But since we didn't have a 8 a.m. person, when 2:30 hit, I was practically by myself again from 2:30 to 5:30. And I had to take kind of a late lunch because there was no way in hell that I was going to go on lunch when I'm the only transporter in the hospital for 3 hours. I ain't gonna do it. So, yeah. So, in total that day, I was by myself for 3 hours and 45 minutes. But then, a few weeks ago, it was just that, it was, during the weekend, or maybe it was a weekday, I don't remember, that there was I think it was a weekend. I was the only transporter there from pretty much from 4:30 until pretty much the end of my shift. So it was 3.5 hours. Because, well, no one told me that the 5:30 person was coming in at 8. I didn't find out about that until literally towards the end. So I literally had to stay at least 10 minutes until I at least saw that said person, which I did. I reported back to my manager, like, hey, I seen so-and-so. So, so-and-so did show up, and so I'm, turning in and calling it a night. And manager was like, okay, cool, thanks for letting me know. Well, actually, let me rephrase that. The manager didn't actually tell me that until I was, like, practically almost home. So, yeah. But, yeah, when I started doing the night shift, like 2 weeks ago, more like a month ago, or no, it would have been like 2 weeks ago. I literally was by myself from 2A to 6A, at least until the 6A person showed up. So, yeah, I stayed logged in onto the system until the 6 a.m. person came in, whoever it was. And I always look, see who it is. And apparently, for the 5:30 people, one of them tonight had 41, which I'm like, holy shit, dude. I mean, like, damn. That's definitely the most I've ever seen, like, anyone ever have, really. I didn't think that was, like, possible. But, yeah, apparently it happened. Okay. I actually ended up with roughly about the same number I did last time that I did an overnight shift. I did 17, and most of all the transports I did tonight were the same I did that night. They were all either ED to CAT scans or admissions, meaning the ED to the floor. I don't even know how many patient floors do we have. We have 1 north, we have 2 north, ICU, 2 south, 2 east, 3 east, and 4 south. So 7. We have 7 different floors. And I brought a patient up to all the floors except for 1 north, ICU, 2 south, and yeah, that's it. Yeah, because I brought patients up to 2 north, 2 east, 3 east, and 4 south. So, yeah. Oh, God. So, yeah. And I only did like maybe 3 or 4 CAT scans. Okay, come on. Okay. It was literally a trade-off. So I'm gonna pull out just to pull in. Okay. So what is my plan? What are my plans for today? For Thursday? Well, one thing's for sure. I need to pay my bills. Okay. I need to shower, because last night was technically supposed to be my shower night. So I'm gonna have to make up for it by taking my shower either as soon as I get home or, whatever. I don't know, I'm tired. My brain hurts from being up. I mean, I have to tell you, man, third shift is you gotta be a whole nother breed to be third shift. Let me tell you. If you can work third shift, then good for you. Because I did it once permanently, back in the days of Walmart in 21 at the old crib, which I'm almost approaching. Yeah, I don't know. The thing is that, when I was on thirds, you're always constantly, moving and doing something. Great turn signal, asshole. Also, you didn't even stop at the damn line. You didn't stop at the damn line. Shit. Yeah, you didn't stop at the damn line. And you didn't use a turn signal. Okay. I'm going to attempt to get some sleep. I'll probably end up sleeping until noon. And then, yeah. So I need to get... I'm probably just gonna take a shower as soon as I get home. Grab me a Pop-Tart or something, or... Yeah, grab me a Pop-Tart from the cupboard. And then just take a shower, get situated for bed, and then just go to bed. And then from there, when I wake up, I'm going to be all business. Many, many things I need to do. Well, first off, pay bills. That's going to be one of the first things I do. That I got to pay bills. But yeah, pay bills. And then from there, I'll do something related to YouTube. I do need to commentate on the next gaming episode for my gaming channel. You guys probably already know what it is. If you follow my gaming channel, it's the game that's currently in progress, depending on when you see this. But it is game number 5. And yeah, I won't say it here unless you already know what it is. Okay. Oh, God. Now, I guess I could go down to Macca's and get some, like some griddles. But I ain't spending a dime until I get this stuff paid, because I gotta pay for a few things with this check. I gotta... Hello, Mr. Black Squirrel. I have to pay my phone bill, phone payment, and half of the couch bill for the homies, because, you know, that's what I agreed to, even, you know, after moving out from them before Christmas. Let's see here. Oh, let's see here. I don't remember what I was saying. My brain is like dead tired. But yeah, I need to work on more of the current game on my gaming channel. I need to continue off of what I was doing earlier when I got called in. I was finally redoing some thumbnails, especially for my governor series. Yeah, the long overdue governor series. I need to make thumbnails for, but I'm gonna have to redo them all. So yeah. Oh God. I probably also have to redo the flag series, or not flag series, but my subdivision series. I'll have to redo the thumbnail background for those, and then do all the all the states and territory flags. Mainly because, well, Minnesota has a new state flag, and it still has the old one. But then again, that series was recorded in 2021, and their official new state flag went into effect back in May. It was like May 11th or something like that when that flag officially went into an effect. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of states that need to redo their redesign their flags. I would say damn near half of all of them need a redesign. But some of them are well known and recognizable. Whether if they have no writing or little to some lot writing. Okay. But yeah, I'll probably spend, if I'm not doing anything with my gaming channel for the rest of the year, I'm going to be making or redoing thumbnails for a couple series. I also just redid the thumbnail for the president fact video on Biden, since he's not running for re-election, and he's gonna end up being a one-term president, even though he originally didn't want to be a one-term president. I don't know. And apparently there's a rumor, and well, it's not really a rumor, but The Simpsons, with how accurate they predict stuff, they predicted that somehow that Kamala was going to be the first female president of the United States, and that she was going to be the next president. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. But, there was an episode that Lisa was president. And she said something. She made a comment saying that that we're trying to recover from economic crises from the previous administration and from a President Trump. So, I don't know. I think people are just overanalyzing it, thinking that the previous administration that she's talking about I'm pretty sure that was the Baylor that they just took. I don't know. People overanalyze everything, and I'm like, bro, it's not even that deep. It's probably not true. But I don't know. Biden went on the air yesterday at around 8 o'clock, addressing the nation like, I'm not running for president because I've had a long, successful career for 50 years, and we are the United States of America. And that is a horrible Biden impression, and honestly, I don't care. I mean, yeah, it is true. He has served our country for over 50 years. And everything that he's done, in terms of office-wise, always had to revolve around his age. When he was first elected into the Senate, and especially being sworn into the Senate, people talked about his age, because he was very few people that was one of the youngest. He was actually one of the youngest senators ever to be sworn in. Because, as you know, there is a age requirement to be in the Senate. And as long as you are 30 years old, you can be in the Senate. Just like for the House, you have to be at least 25. And the funny thing is that the way how I am, I could technically run for the House if I wanted to right now. Because, just think about it. You have to be at least 25 years old. You have to be a U.S. citizen for at least 7 years. And you have to live in the state you're going to represent. So, for example, if you are going to be a member of the House if you're going to be a representative for the state of New Hampshire, you can't live all the way out in Nevada to represent New Hampshire. You got to actually live in New Hampshire. Since I live in Ohio, I could technically I could technically run for any of the congressional districts here in Ohio. Although it would make sense to run for the district that you live in, because, you know, that would make the most sense, right? So I currently live in the 4th district, but I have a lot of respect for my own congressman, Jim Jordan, that I don't want to run against him and, you know, take his seat. For the Senate, is pretty much mostly the same thing. Just a little bit, but you gotta tweak it up a bit. For the Senate, you have to be at least 30 years old. You have to be a U.S. citizen for at least 9 years. And just like for the House, you have to live in the state you're going to represent. So, once again, if you want to be a senator for, I don't know, Nebraska, you can't live in Florida. So, for me, for the House, I check all 3 constitutional requirements. So I could technically run for the House anytime I want now. Pretty much from now up until the day I die. For the Senate, I passed 2 of the 3. Only because, well, I'm not 30 yet. The sanitation department is really, they're really going at 6 in the morning. Oh, let's see here. And then president. Obviously there are requirements for the president. First off, you have to be a natural-born U.S. citizen. I mean, you have to be born here. Only exception with that rule is that if you are born abroad, I mean, outside of America, like the actual, like, areas that is considered America, one of your parents has to be at least a U.S. citizen. Which is why back in the presidential election race of 2016, and everyone was debating whether or not Ted Cruz could even be considered a candidate. His parents were American, but he was technically born in Canada. Therefore, so yeah, his parents are American, but he himself was born in Canada. So that would mean he technically has dual citizenship for both America and Canada. Although I'm not exactly quite sure if that's how it works. So yeah, either way, for president, you have to be a natural-born U.S. citizen, unless if you're born abroad, in which at least one parent has to be a U.S. citizen. Which means that, you know, everyone's favorite bodybuilder, Arnold Schwarzenegger, you know, the Terminator, and the former governor of California cannot be president. Why? His parents aren't American, because, they're Austrian. And Arnold himself was not born in America either. Just like his parents, he is Austrian. Okay, I think I want to roll along on that tangent. So yeah, that's the first requirement for president. 2, you have to be at least 35 years old. I'm not there yet, so I still got another 10 years until I can, do that. And requirement number 3, you have to live in the US for at least 14 years. Which is funny with all 3 of those offices, is that for all of them except for the House, I am 2 for 3, which, obviously for the House, I'm 3 for 3. And since I'm 2 for 3 for the Senate and the President, the only thing that I just have to, the only requirement for those I would have to meet for both of them would be my age. As I'm 25, so I could technically run for the House if I wanted to. Currently, the youngest person that currently serves in the House is Florida Democrat Maxwell Frost. He is currently 27. So yeah, he is the youngest member of the House. Who is the oldest? I don't know. If I had to guess, it would either be Democrats, Nancy Pelosi of California, Steny Hoyer of Maryland, or Jim Clyburn of, what state is he from? Like Texas? South Carolina? He's definitely from the South. I want to say South Carolina that he's from. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's one of those 3. I will literally eat my shoe if it's not either of them. But yeah. I have no idea who the youngest member of the Senate is currently, or who the oldest is. Although I want to think that it's probably either Republican Senators Mitch McConnell of Kentucky, who is the current minority leader, or Chuck Grassley, former President pro tempore of Iowa. Now, here's the thing about the President pro tempore. Usually the President pro tempore of the Senate, in terms of presidential line of succession, like after the president, if you count the president like spot number 0, if you start going down, starting with the vice president with, as number 1, as, next in line. The president pro tempore in the line of succession is number 3, meaning that if the president, vice president, and Speaker of the House dies, then the president pro tempore of the Senate would become president. But the thing with the president pro tempore is that it's usually mostly a ceremonial rank and position of the most senior senator of the majority party. So in the last couple Congresses, it was Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa, but currently it is Senator Murray of Washington, which is the first time that the office of President pro tempore of the Senate has been held by a woman. That's right. In the presidential line of succession, without going into the cabinet, which will be spots 4 through 17, 3 of the 4 positions have been held by a woman at least once. President pro tempore of the Senate, well, at the start of this Congress, which was a historic first. Speaker of the House, that's only happened twice, but with the same person, and it was Nancy Pelosi. She first had that office in 2007. She served as Speaker of the House two separate times with 2 terms apiece. So she really served as Speaker of the House for 4 terms. First time from 2007 all the way to 2011. And the second time from 2019 until last year, 2023. And for vice president, well, it's our current vice president, Kamala Harris. But if she somehow wins the election and beats Trump, she will become the very first female president of the United States. If that were to actually happen. Speaking about the election, there was a video I watched yesterday, I guess you could say it was yesterday, that in a hypothetical polling based on, where each candidate stood with, each of the states, excluding 3 states where Kamala would have 225 electoral votes and Trump would have 269 electoral votes. It would literally be down to 3 states, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. And the way how I thought of it is that it could be one of 3 possible scenarios on how it would play out. 1, as long as Trump wins one of them or all of them, he would become he would win the presidency, and he would win a second term, which would lead him to be the second president to win 2 non-consecutive terms since Grover Cleveland. But he would be the first Republican to, ever do that. So he would be the first Republican president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms, but the second president overall to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. So that's scenario 1. Scenario 2. Somehow, Nevada would switch to Democrat and vote for Kamala, because in scenario 1, Nevada would be going for Trump. Yeah, I know, a shocker, right? Kamala wins Nevada, but she also wins the 3 states I mentioned of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, making her the winner. Or scenario 3. Trump keeps all the states that he won, including Nevada. So he keeps all the same states that he does in scenario 1. But Kamala wins Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, which would eventually lead to a tie. 269 for Kamala, 269 for Trump. And you're probably wondering, okay, so what would happen in scenario 3 if that were to happen? Well, according to the Constitution, that if there is a tied race for president, or in a presidential election where there are multiple candidates that do not get the majority of the electoral votes, which would be the half plus 1, then the race will be sent over to the House of Representatives. But here's the catch for that. Even though there are 435 total possible members of the House of Representatives, all of the representatives have to vote by state. So there's really one state, one vote. Now, also keep in mind that this method is also used if there are more than 2 candidates for president, which is exactly what happened in the presidential election year, in the presidential election race 200 years ago in 1824, where there were 4 candidates. You have the famous war hero of the War of 1812, Andrew Jackson. You have the then Secretary of State, John Quincy Adams. You have the then Secretary of the Treasury, William Crawford. And then you have the then Speaker of the House, Henry Clay. And the way how they all finished is the list of how I said it. But, this was also the first election in which the popular vote was counted. So, even though Jackson won the popular vote and got the most of the Electoral College, he didn't get the majority. So it went over to the House of Representatives. but the top 3 go to the House of Representatives. And so Henry Clay is dropped. But, like how I said, he was Speaker of the House. But it eventually went down to 2 because William Crawford ended up having a stroke. So it was really down between Jackson and Adams. So there were 26 states in the Union at the time. So really either one needed at least 14 states to vote for either one. And so Henry Clay made a deal with the members of the House at the time. And as the states voted, they picked John Quincy Adams to be president. Which, Jackson called it a corrupt bargain. But thing is that in that hypothetical case, continuing off of scenario 3, where the states have to pick the president, at that point, the Senate will choose the vice president. Yes. Which means that the U.S. could have, in that hypothetical situation, have a president of one party and the vice president of the other. Which would be very uncomfortable, I would feel. But has that ever happened before, in which there was a president of one party and a vice president of the other? Yes, there was. It has happened before. Who was president and who was vice president at that time? Well, kind of goes all the way back to our country's establishment, almost. Who was president from 1797 to 1801? Why, it was John Adams, of course. He was president under the Federalist Party, and his vice president was the first Secretary of State, and would eventually be the second vice president of the United States, and he would eventually become the third president of the United States, and he also authored the Declaration of Independence. Yes, the vice president of John Adams was Thomas Jefferson, who was a Democratic Republican. So yeah, they were both political rivals, but after a lifetime of politics aside, they were both good buds. Like, they were like buddy, but just their politics kind of kept them apart for a little while. Even though, ironically, they both died on the 4th of July. Literally 50 years after it was adopted. So, yeah, those are my possible scenarios based on the video that I watched earlier. All I can say is that if Trump wins all the states that he did, or that he does in the video and wins at least one of the other 3 states, he would definitely be president. Or if Kamala gets all 3 of those states, plus somehow swings Nevada as a Democrat, she would be president. Or if Kamala just wins those 3 states and doesn't flip Nevada, it would be a 50-50 tie, which means that the House will have to pick the president and the Senate will have to pick the vice president, which may or may not be of the same party. All right, we're back here at the house. Thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time. Goodbye.